Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave, and hey, happy Sunday. You made it all the way to Sunday. It's time to pray to some gods, but could it be Goat Jesus? Could it be Bear Jesus? Nobody knows, but probably not Bull Jesus anytime soon. As always, on Sunday, we'll be talking about longer-term trade ideas, long-term analysis, all that good stuff. No watered-down mainstream bullshit here, as we're going to be actually getting into some pretty hefty analysis. Anyways, before I get into that, I do want to remind everyone that the secrets actually kind of already got out, but all of my programs, the technical analysis program, the options program, and the Jewel indicators are all going to be essentially on sale for Black Friday. So started a week early, I suppose, with the code BF20 in all capitals, just the letter B, the letter F, and then 20 for all of them. All good. Okay, so let's get into the live scene right over here, wasting no more time as we got plenty to talk about. Okay, so we will start off with the short-term ideas first because, well, actually very little's changed from there. But of course, always want to mark off this area right here, 6150. As long as Bitcoin's below there, I played this like a very bearish asset. We have another resistance right here at about 5850. And now we got to dive deep into the lower time frames to figure out what's going on over here. And it looks to me like we got a nice horizontal right here, right around 5600. And we got a nice support right around here, 5450. And we could actually make this a little bit more of a zone down around here, and that looks all good to me. You also notice how this this upper resistance right here does kind of align with the 4-hour 21 exponential. Always like that for good confluence. So with that said, we're just kind of filling out this area, just like we spoke about this past week. Very likely to just kind of float around here after a major move like this. It's going to take its time to kind of just kind of figure itself out. But I do feel that very likely we will be moving probably further down. We will be breaking down from this formation over here, this consolidation area, before moving upwards. I know a lot of people are looking at this and saying, Crown, we have bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. And I would say, yeah, you do, but I think it's already played out. Your 4-hour Stokes are going to be turning here pretty damn soon on, this is GDAX. I believe it already has on BitMexico, and we'll do the rest of the charting on BitMexico. But a few things to talk about on GDAX chart first. So again, as long as we're below 5600, I do actually think that we're going to be making further lows before any meaningful bounce. I think people looking for the big bounce here are misguided or not looking at the right things. We need to go over to our higher time frames because again, we had an 11-month formation over here, 11-month formation, right? Over 11 months formation, getting resolved to the downside, middle of last week. So when it comes down to it, in order to actually get a good read on our oscillators, we're going to need to go to the higher time frames. So even the daily is kind of a little bit off kilter over here. But hey, the daily RSI, no divergence here. Yes, it is extremely low, which does mean that it's easier to create divergence, but we still haven't even put in that kind of like second drive, so to say. So again, I know everyone on crypto Twitter, I know everyone on YouTube, on TradingView, all these great social media venue places are saying the RSI can't go lower, and they'll never go lower, and Bitcoin's going to go back to the moon tomorrow before end of year. No, probably not. That's the wrong way to be using these oscillators right here. Daily RSI, daily stochastics over here actually still gaining momentum to the downside, so still looks fine to me. Overall, I'm looking for divergence again, as I said on these, and so far, not so good. Yes, you did put a nice hammer dildo right here, but without any sort of follow through almost immediately. I look at this as just creating some sort of a bearish consolidation, a consolidation that's most likely to be resolved to the downside over here. Now, yes, the 2-hour is poking its head out above the 21 exponential over here, so we could very easily have another run to 5600. And I suppose a little bit more appropriate to be speaking about if you do break above 5600. And if I am wrong on this, well, where's your next resistance? Right around here, 5700. Above there, you got this guy right around 5850, and then above there, you got the big one, 6150. Again, I think that we probably do head lower before breaking 5600. But hey, that's just an opinion. Am I making trades off that? No, not really. But there are plenty of trades to be made within this range right here because there's a very easy way to manage your risk. So again, I've been shorting this 5600 area right here. And buying on the support levels down around here, various different levels, and if we were to break above 5600, well, I just take that position off, take the small loss because, well, you've been playing it for the last half week, and you don't have to get too damn greedy with that. Anyways, going over to the rest of the higher time frames over here, we need to get to the 2-day. 2-day is very important. I believe we did not get a new one last night. We will be getting one tonight. Yes, indeed, we will. The 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and just taking everything off right here. Again, your 2-day Stokes over here, just still gaining momentum to the downside. This was an early tell of the breakdown, right over here. I mean, the 2-day Dillo chart got everything so damn well. We got the death cross right over here, which, very rarely, and I don't think I've ever seen in my experience, 2-day Dillo death cross get, negated. Or at least not play out a little bit. And then once we started getting rejected by the 21 exponential, especially right here, and then the Stokes turning down alongside that with that, well, that was the impetus for breaking that major 6150 level, again, on an extremely heavy volume, something that we just haven't seen in a long time. Probably better seen on a daily, I'd imagine. Yeah, the daily gets it pretty damn well. And this is why I do think that we're going further lower. This is a true resolution of a consolidation when you see volume like this after a period of very, 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 very anemic volume. So again, when it comes down to it, I would say that even if Bitcoin were to bounce up here, very likely that the overall direction is down. Now, very, very important over here, the 3-day Dillo chart. We'll notice that, yes, the red 200 simple has been rejecting price action. That was also a big tell, alongside the 2-day. We spoke about that, I think it was a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. Great entry. If you did take that, congratulations, phenomenal position. But we've also now done something very unique. We've done something that has never been done except for one other time in Bitcoin's over 10-year history. We have both opened and closed a 3-day Dillo below this 200 purple exponential moving average right here. If that's not convoluted enough, maybe a little bit dyslexic, but overall, yes, it is kind of like a hammer right there, but again, I need to see follow through in order to be a little bit of a believer. I really do feel like we'll probably be heading lower from here before higher, but again, it's an easy trade to be taken either which way. So anyways, we have a few things to be aware of over here. Okay, we have the 21 exponential cross to the downside of the green, of the 200 purple exponential moving average right over here. A little bit of a slip right there, the Freudian tongue. But again, just a faster moving average, essentially crossing the downside of a slower one, telling you that the overall trend switching around. And again, like we said, this is the second time in Bitcoin's over 10-year history that Bitcoin has both opened and closed a 3-day Dillo below the 200 exponential moving average, that purple line right over there. It tried many times over here, it bounced it each and every time, a smaller degree each and every time, but eventually at the end of the day, it did break. Now let's go back into Bitcoin's history over here and kind of see what happened once we actually both opened and closed 3-day Dillos below this purple 200 exponential, and also the 200 simple, I suppose, as well. They kind of one follows the other, as you'd imagine. They have very similar inputs, just different calculations. So yes, in 2014, once we started getting below the 200 exponential, that's where things started to get really nasty indeed. In fact, sending you all the way to your red dildo capitulation death over here. Get your red bloody eagle on, girl. Anyways, it also got the accumulation zone extremely well in 2014 as well. And when Bitcoin boosted right back up above it and started closing 3-day dildos above it, well, that was actually the beginning of your 3-year bull run. So again, this is something I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to going forwards here, as it'll be a good preliminary sign when if Bitcoin is likely to be ready to actually turn around the market cycle. But for now, just making our first crack on this guy right here, and going to be probably a very long time before we do that. However, that's what I'd be looking for. And again, don't take my opinion on time, or don't take my opinion on anything. It's technical analysis that is valuable here, not my opinion. My opinion can be wrong, but again, I would be saying that probably unlikely that we take it out anytime soon. But hey, that's how you would know, or at least that's how I would know that the market cycle is likely changing around if we could actually get back above this level. Where is that level coming in around? Well, actually a tick under about 6,300. So again, very, 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 very important. Let's go over to the weekly now. Okay, weekly. All right, so this is going to be very important over here. We have the yellow 21 exponential cross on the downside of the green 55 right here. We spoke about this for the last 2.5 months ad nauseum, which probably just really pissed everyone off. But, this is why this is so powerful. As they gain more and more momentum away from each other, which they're obviously gaining even more momentum now, this move is likely to gain more strength. Again, only one other time in Bitcoin's history, over 10-year history of ever having this exponential moving average cross on the weekly dildo time frame. Right over here, even got the same sort of rejection. Although I don't want to make it sound like you can look at these things as a one-to-one historical value. No, you cannot. But hey, they continue to get more and more diverged, I suppose you could say, until they actually crossed over here, and then you had your bull run. So again, another thing to be aware of, just another kind of sign. But let's kind of talk about where this is likely to lead to now that we've actually had the full-on breakdown. So I'm going to go back on over here to GDAX. Take everything off. I'm going to do a new drawing, and I think we can all agree that this is our spot support right here, 61. Let's just call it 61.50, although it might be a few ticks lower. And I suppose you could make the argument that this was a smaller descending triangle right here with perhaps a throw over. So you did actually break it out to the upside over here, but again, a very piss poor reaction, no volume on the breakout, and then it just pours on over. So I'm gonna make the assumption that this is right. I do have problems with this, and this is up for interpretation here. So if there's people out there saying it's not, it can't be it, well, I would say that there is credence to that idea. But let's just kind of make the assumption here, playing around with some ideas, and make a measure move off this guy right here. Just basically a throw over and then back down. We do have the volume characteristics to support that, and we do have the reaction thus far to support that. So that is good enough for now. Now, where would this be pointing towards? Well, if we put it on the weekly, oh damn it! The weekly doesn't have enough. The weekly doesn't have enough information to populate the moving averages yet. But it'd be pointing you all the way down to about 4,100, right? So what else do we have on 4,100? That's actually an area of great interest, right? Because not only do we have that measure move pointing down there, but we also have, if we go over here to Bitstamp, we have our purple 200 exponential coming in right around that area as well on the weekly dildo time frame. We also have the 786 Fibonacci retracement coming in right around there as well. This dotted trend line, this is the one that the red arrows are pointing to. This is the 10-year logarithmic trend line of Bitcoin that has never been broken in history, essentially, and that would be coming in right around that, a little bit higher, but 4,400 level as well. Not only that, we have these nice horizontals coming in over here as well. What else? What about the volume profile? If we go down to the daily, you'll notice that the daily that the daily will tell you that there is absolutely nothing doing after we lose 5,500, 5,600 until that mid to low 4,000s area right here as well. Okay, so a lot of things pointing around this area. Also, the monthly, we do have to be aware of the monthly as well. Get off this volume profile. Fuck you. Sorry, get a little bit excited when I talk about my volume profile. But hey, the 30 simple moving average coming around that region as well. So again, a lot of things kind of lining up with that area. So that is the first big area that I'll be looking for a potential reversal. Very, very, very high, extremely high probability of a very extreme bounce. Perhaps a reversal, but a reversal will only be able to be proven, I suppose, until we see like the full reaction. We basically need to see it get above those levels that we spoke about before on the 3-day, and also basically just above this 6,100 level now, because 6,100 was such a strong support when getting through it from the way from the top side down. Well, it's going to be an extremely strong resistance. It's going to be of equal strength resistance now for the other side. Okay, so that would be the first big area that I'm looking towards. Of course, unless if there's actually a good contingency on this, unless if by the end of today at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this weekly dildo closes above 6,100. If you can do that, then actually everything that I say goes out the window for now. but also for now, that's what I'll be looking for. Let's do a little bit of measurements on this guy as well. Let's actually do some date and price range over here. And let's do a projection, right? Let's do a projection. So I'm going to take the top of our market cycle, or the high of our market cycle, and actually project this to where that measure move was pointing and where all those other things were pointing. And let's just kind of bring it in like maybe right over here. So again, I'm not sure, don't take the dates like fucking verbatim. Please do not. But understand that the percentage drawdown is what I'm looking at over here. So if we were to kind of drag this all the way down, that would be a 79% drawdown to our measure move area. Well, let's go back to our past prior market cycle over here in 2014 and see if we can have any confluences with this area. And let's see. Look at this. Look at this. So right about at the 80 mark, or sorry, 78% would be right around here, which actually does get a good majority of your accumulation phase. Now, that's with using wicks. Now, I actually do play around with this myself, so it's good to be going through this together. But there is some very interesting over here. If I do use bodies, well, if I use body to body over here, then it's actually 77, about 77%. Doesn't that sound familiar? That sounds quite familiar indeed. If I do talk with myself just long enough, but you have about 79% versus 78%. Very, very similar. So just another thing kind of pointing that direction. So fair enough, fair enough. But again, Is that the right way to be doing it? Well, we need to really play around with this. We need to really play around with this. But I do like that for good confluence. And again, this would be a much like a secondary, tertiary way of getting things. Now, if I use dildo bodies over here, then that's actually going to be an 86% drawdown. So let's go see if that 86% drawdown would actually line up with anything that else that I have planned out over here. And what's this? What's this? This next blue box territory over here, which I haven't explained yet, but it will become our new explanation, is something of great importance as well. Now, I want you to look at this diagonal trend line right here. This was the first resistance kind of holding this thing back in its initial consolidationary phase, which it actually broke out to the upside of, and then really, and while it didn't necessarily break it to the downside, it did actually use it as support on the downside right here and right here. Okay, why is that important? Well, we can make the same trend line on Bitcoin right here, right? And Bitcoin technically broke out of it right here, and it's been using it as, technically broke out of it right here, and it's been using it as support ever since. You know, bouncing off it a little bit, but hey, if we do extrapolate this guy just like we did in 2014, that would actually be coming down around this 2,800 level right here. What else do we have in that level? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have this 200 simple moving average right here, that red simple moving average right there. We also have the 886 Fibonacci retracement. We also have, you know, a very similar percentage drawdown in this area. But what else? We have, okay, so we have the 886 Fibonacci retracement, right? Well, that's actually where you bottomed out in 2014 as well. That was where your ultimate wick was, down around here, right around 178 or so. Now, you did bounce off of it extremely fast, and make no mistake, I need to take this off because it makes things harder to see, but make no mistake, even though this doesn't look too crazy right here, that is a like 40 or 50% move. Yep, that is about a 40% move just from wick to wick, or sorry, just measuring the wick. If we use the bodies, it's about 50 to 60% off the lows in quite literally 1 week. So that is what I'm really looking for a capitulation. That's why at the current moment in time, I'm not necessarily too convinced by this guy right here. A few $100 off your lows on very piss poor volume. Not really the reaction that I'm looking for. So for all the people asking if we saw capitulation the other day, no, that's not what capitulation looks like. It wasn't also acting like capitulation. During capitulation times, there's going to be no fucking buyers, like absolutely none. So price action is going to be moving around, you know, $100, $200 at a time with each and every tick, just because, you know, people won't be able to get in filled. If you could even get in orders on an exchange like BitMEX, but of course I'm actually trading on Deribit now, so fair enough. Okay, so we've spoken about all that. We also around that area as well, but that would offer up a very interesting take on this guy, right? Because overall, that would imply a break of the dotted 10-year log, or the trend line over here. So that would make me think that this whole next that would make me think that the whole market cycle would take much longer than 2014. So we could really be looking at this for a long time. Again, don't trust me for fucking technical analysis. That came out wrong. Don't trust me for time analysis. Jesus Christ, man. I can't even speak right now. It's been a very long night. But hey, time analysis, not something that I'm too comfortable with, not something that I really have seen done, to be quite honest with you, in a predictable sense. But very much worth pointing out. Now, I'm sure everyone's gonna be saying, but Crown, Backed is gonna save us, you asshole. Well, maybe Daddy Backed will save you. Maybe Bitcoin actually makes that new low into this area right here in the next couple of weeks, just like I've been saying, like I say, is likely as well. And then you get a nice rally for Backed. And then next month, which I think is very likely, you actually do come back and retest somewhere around the 6,000 range, give or take, you know, $200. I think very, 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 very likely is, again, this is not good technical analysis. What I'm doing, this is more projection, which is not a good thing to do. Not a good thing to do. But if I were going off my experience, I'd be saying something like that would kind of make sense. Overall, be careful. I'm not making trades off that just yet, but if we do end anywhere here or lower, I would be looking for a move to kind of test back into that, 58, 59, maybe even 6,000 level next month in December, and that probably coincides with the Backed bullshit. Again, events do not change a market. Bear markets do not end on news. They end when the last seller has sold. Very key, point. Oh my God! If you can't tell that I'm struggling with my words today, I apologize for that. I really do apologize for that. It's very, 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 very. It's very, 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 very embarrassing, is what it is. So, anyways, when it comes down to it, yes, that's what I'd be looking for. And you've seen this before. It comes all the time with announcements, with futures, with this, with that. If you trade traditional equities, which is where I come from as a traditional market maker in equity options, well, you've probably seen fucking earnings reports, conference calls, all these sorts of things. Things will rally up into them, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't even matter what the reason is, but just the psychology behind it. The expectations were either met or destroyed. If they're met, well, okay, then we can just move on with our lives. It doesn't change the fucking world. So what happens? Well, you take your profits. And if your expectations are destroyed, well, you just then pandemonium typically does ensue. But again, bear markets do not end on news. They end when the last seller has sold. Okay, so putting on the 10 simple on this monthly chart over here, let's go to the BLX index for this. You can see that, again, once a 10 simple kind of got above price action, lassoed this guy over here, and now pulling it down below this 21 simple, this 21 exponential moving average right over here. To me, this is kind of like enter, significant downtrend now. So let's actually talk about the last kind of idea that I have for this guy. Yes, you do have a green 55 exponential kind of coming in right around here, right around that low 4,000 area. So I think that kind of supports more of the range of that mid to low 4,000 areas as I'm looking for the next big bounce. But there's something very, very important to be aware of over here. The high of our last market cycle in 2014 is around 1,200. Why is this important? Well, typically, it's like an unwritten rule that the highs of your prior market cycle act as the lows of your new market cycle. So that's why I point this out. It's about around 1,200. You've seen this happen before in Bitcoin's history. In 2013, you had the high over here. And then where was your low in 2014? Right over here. What about in 2011? You had your high right here, and you had your low actually quite a bit higher. In fact, if we do make a percentage move off this, it would be about literally 100, over 127%. So again, does it always happen? No, it does not always happen, but it is a reasonable thing to look for. So that's why I did want to kind of point it out. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Is it possible to happen? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. But of course, there are multiple levels to get through before there. Just like we spoke about, we have first and foremost, the mid to low 4,000s area. We could just call it, colloquially speaking, as 4,500, and then below there we could say about 3,000ish area, give or take a couple $100. And then this level would kind of be my last level over here. If Bitcoin were to break below that level, below 1,200, that would probably coincide with some sort of major fundamental change for Bitcoin, which makes it just no longer viable in whatever way. Like I don't know, like Trump comes out and says Bitcoin is the worst thing in the world. It's not even the worst thing in the world. It's like the best worst thing in the world, because it makes no fucking sense. And usually that's what I feel like when I read his tweets, because I'm not even a political person. I'm just like, what the fuck does this even mean, man? Anyways, without all that, again, please don't take that as a political statement. I have absolutely no political affiliations. In fact, my whole life's belief is that I want to be in a position myself where I don't have to rely and care about who is in charge of being the king of the world. Anyways, so again, if Bitcoin were to break below 1,200, that would be the point in which I think that Bitcoin would actually signal from a technical analysis perspective that it's legitimately fucked up, like it's legitimately fact. So when it comes down to it, it is in a way reasonable to say that yes, it can come down there. It certainly can come down there, and it wouldn't actually provide too much of an issue from a technical analysis perspective until you actually smash through that level. So again, just something to be aware of. And Bitcoin actually moving right now. I can see over here on good old BitMexico, we just moved down $25 whole. Holy moly, are we getting stopped right here, just like we said at the beginning of this video? Oh my God, tell me, say it isn't so, Bitcoin. Say it isn't so. Anyways, no, just kind of a little bit of price action right here. I want to see if this 2-hour 21 exponential holds up the price action. We still got 2 minutes and 58 seconds left to go on this bitch. But, again, your higher time frame Stokes are turning down a little bit. You got your 4-hour Stokes just turning over here, fresh cross. 8-hour actually giving you fresh cross the upside, but kind of like, just crawling its way along. So to me, that's more indicative of what's it called, Uncertainty is the word that I'm looking for. 10 hour over here actually did cross the upside as well. So snaking around a lot, morphing around a lot. But again, I do feel very, very strongly that you can see very easily your levels right here. Well, I guess it's better shown in a 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hours a little bit better right here. As you have this range right here between about 56 and 56.40. As long as you're below there, I think that we're going to be seeing new lows before new highs. And okay, that's not a profound statement at all. It's like a no shit statement. Duh. If we don't go fucking up, we're going to go down. No shit. Yes, I understand that. Let me explain though. Probably most people are looking for a bounce here to take you back to about 5,800 or 5,900. Also because that's going to be a nice Fibonacci as well, or something on the retracement. I'm going to guess. And yeah, you'd have your 618 coming in right around here, 59.50, and your 0.5 coming around here, right on this horizontal as well, around 58.50. You do have some bullish divergence on some good time frames, but hey. As long as you're kind of fucking around this region, I feel like pressure is down. This to me looks like a consolidation, looks like a bear flag. You could make the argument that it is a bear flag, and let's just see if it has a measured move on this bitch right now. Let's see. I shouldn't use that bitch colloquially speaking. Jesus Christ, man. Do you have no... Are you like uneducated, man? It's like Jesus Christ. Anyways, measure move would be pointing down towards well, if we pull it out enough, right around here, right around this 5,600 level, which again, just another thing kind of pointing in that direction of that mid to low 4,000s level that we spoke about. So there's like 10 things there. We have this measure move. We have the measure move off the small descending triangle. We have the 200 exponential on the weekly dildo time frame. We have the volume profile. We have the horizontal. We have the monthly 30 simple moving average. We have, what else do we have? We have the 786 Fibonacci retracement. All these great things kind of coming into play around that area, and that's why I think you're just gonna have people interested in it who weren't even interested in Bitcoin in the first place, because it's gonna be low enough. It's so low now. It's below 5,000. It was once 20,000. Yes, some people will think like that. Total market cap over here. Let's go look at this guy. Again, I do have this kind of having a measure move coming all the way down here towards 150 billion. Not saying that it happens today or tomorrow, or even, it might take a while. I mean, it took a while to put in this formation right here. But I do think that it happened. I mean, do I think that it happens over time? I don't really like even using the total market cap, to be honest with you. But I do like that it has confluence with what we're looking at on the coin itself. So that's kind of what I'd be using it for. Let's go look in the longs and shorts of it all. We got this right over here. We have about 27. Wow. We have about 27,000 total longs on Finex versus a little over 22,000 open shorts, and about 3,500 of those shorts are hedged. So we really have about a little under 19,000 open shorts versus, again, 27,000 open longs. Almost 10,000 more, or sorry, 9,000 more. So again, this is a very unique situation. We have resolved an 11-month consolidation to the downside, and people are just piling on the fucking longs. Now, they aren't paying any sort of crazy rates. We can't even see it right now, but I'm going to guess it's probably the same as yesterday, a little bit below 0.01, which is nothing, absolutely fucking nothing. But when it comes down to it, be very, very cognizant of this, because all these people, all these longs are not going to take too much to really shake out of their positions. They are either in a little bit of profit right now or right at break even. So these guys who entered anywhere right around here, if we do break 54.50 on a 4-hour dildo time frame and close a 4-hour dildo below this area, again right here 54.50, I'm gonna guess that a lot of people will be de-risking below that area or be forced to de-risk, which is called a liquidation. Anyways, we can actually go look at the average price of most of these guys. Most of these guys entering in on November 14th after 1800. Let's go back into the price action over here and see where that exactly was. November 14th at 1800. That's right here. Right here. So most of these people with an average price somewhere quite literally right where the current price action is. So we could say average price around 5,500 even, just kind of make it easy. Whereas the shorts on the other hand are actually falling off a fucking cliff right now. They have been in full control, going straight up and then taking their profits like good non-greedy little bears. And now if they want to put those positions back on, if they want to short this area and destroy that support, it wouldn't take much. The longs have already used up a lot of their dry ammo. You really don't want more than 26,000 longs when you're especially when you're below 6,000. But holy shit, maybe even below 65 to 7,000 to 6,500 to 7,000 as well. Overall, be fucking careful with these sorts of things. Again, I don't put as much weight on Finex anymore just because, for obvious reasons, the good old tether, bullshit, and there's just been a mass exodus going on over there. And I think that the longs and shorts ratios just in general, like I think they're greatly misunderstood by most analysts on YouTube, but just look sexy, and so they think that it makes them look smart. But there is a little bit to it. So that's what I could be saying, and that could certainly come into play over here as Bitcoin comes under a little bit more pressure right now. So again, I do want to be aware of those things. Let's go check out GBTC. Again, GBTC close. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Can't make anything of that. GBTC on a daily does look like it put in a nice stoppage dildo right here. Again, finding support along this horizontal level, like we said, was very, very likely, and decent volume as well. But again, no follow through. And if we go over here to the weekly, the weekly, this does not look like a bottoming dildo to me, unfortunately. Maybe a little bit of a stutter step coming into next week, but overall, not the most. I'm not the most confident in this. Finding resistance along the 10 simple right here, not good at all. So again, let's go check out regular markets. I do want to do a little bit of an overview on regular markets before we head into the week. I think that we're still going to be going sideways. Again, basically last week's set was doing exactly what we said, playing between about 271 and 278. Just kind of filling out this range right here. Let's get this guy off because this guy kind of got the dildo body. But again, just kind of closing in between this area. Yes, I do think that we're going to be coming down here to about 259. But I don't think that you get like the ultimate fall until probably December, I'd imagine. Again, major bearish divergence on your RSI, major bearish divergence on your stochastics, rejecting the bullish zone or the more critical zone over there. So to me, that is significant. Let's go check out Ripple. Ripple has been very interesting recently. A lot of people calling this one out as it's been having some moves, maybe decoupling, maybe doing the... Oh, wow. Holy moly, man. I completely missed this. But you did close above this horizontal right here at about 8,800. So very, very nice. Very nice. I haven't really been looking at this too much, but hey, very fucking good. I'm sure people are saying that you got some bearish divergence on the RSI. No, you don't. I need a stopping point first, and we don't have that. In fact, you just got a golden cross on the daily over here. Very, 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 very good. Getting above this horizontal right here, I love it. I think it looks really good. I don't see much stopping you from about 10,500. And I think we did have a measure move coming over there the other day. And if that area gets taken out, or you know how Ripple is, it goes crazy sometimes. I'd be looking towards 12,000 on the next drive. Ripple just fucking runs, man. It's crazy. Overall, daily Stokes over here still gaining momentum to the upside, very good. Daily RSI still going. This move isn't over just yet. So here's what I could say a little bit more concretely. As long as you close today's daily above 8,800, I think that you're in for some more upside. And probably do reach for this area right over here around 10,500. If the daily closes above again 8,800. If you could do that, very, very good. Overall, Ripple really standing out right now. Same thing with Stellar. Stellar is doing great as well. These two really stand out in the overall market structure. I mean, the Stellar really stands out just because it held its consolidation so high compared to everything else that just dumped back to all goddamn hell. So again, Stellar looks like it actually wants to take another run up over here. Let's see, what do I have? I have its next resistance right around here. It looks like it already took a stab towards 4,600, but I think that it does take that guy out. 3-day Stoke still going, still looking good. 3-day RSI needs to take out this level here. Does need to take out this level here. Otherwise, you will get divergence, but seems likely. Okay, what else we have? Mr. Buterol. Let's go check out Mr. Buterol. As always, he's an interesting character over here, isn't he? Let's go down to the 4-hour and let's see. Let's kind of do the same thing for Mr. Buterol that we did for Bitcoin. So the range for Buterol is between about 171.5 and 178.5. As long as you're in there, you're just kind of bouncing around. Play the support, play the resistance. But same thing as Bitcoin. I think this thing's going to be making lower lows before you get above 178.5. And I do have a measure move on this bitch, taking you all the way down to about 130. If we do get this all the way down here, 130 right over here. Again, don't take that like verbatim, but just kind of getting you in the range, so to say. But a symmetrical triangle breaking down, these have a very high degree of playing out. So very similar to what you saw over here in this symmetrical triangle. Breaking down. You even put in the same kind of stutter step right here, where you put in a nice hammer dildo. But again. drooping back down, or just by the fact of no follow through very, very soon, calls it into question just by the nature of it. And again, major volume on the breakdown over here. Or sorry, you can't even see it. But basically the volume on the breakdown the past like week or so. Very, 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 very nasty indeed, and definitely indicative that this is our new direction for a while, I'd imagine. Again, as long as Bitcoin's below about 6,100, I think it's no questions asked. So direction's down. The same thing for Mr. Buteroll would be around 194, 195. As long as you're below there, direction is down. Okay, what else do we have? Should we cover up anything else? Do we have Dixie somewhere? Yeah, we got Dixie right over here. Dixie kind of fucking around. Ooh, Dixie rejection right there. So now we have bearish divergence on a rejection. Not good. So this thing is likely to come down further, hit our resistance and down. Yes, it is coming down to the 21. We're gonna have to wait obviously until the week starts to figure this guy out, but maybe you get another one of these guys right over here. But I would say that you can only get rejected so many times before you start exploring supports instead of resistances, and that might be the time might have come for Mr. Dixie over here, as it does look a little bit weaker. That was kind of a nasty move right there. Nasty move. Anyways, back on a Bitcoin over here as we do wrap this guy up, and my throat is actually killing me right now. Back into the 4-hour. And okay, so again, the range on the small time frames is between about 5450 and 5600. If you can close a 4-hour dildo above 5600, then hey, I'm gonna be wrong on my opinion of seeing lower lows before getting to this 5850 area right over here. By the same token, you got 5450 right over here. If you break that area, yes, technically you would still have this zone down around here, right around 5400 even. But I do think it'd be very likely that you do make your way into the below 5,000 after that. You do have your 4-hour Stokes kind of turning over here, but they can turn and turn again. Depends how we react on this next one. Maybe you even get a formal test on 5,600 right over here. I mean, it's very possible. So again, overall, smaller time frames just playing support and resistance. Higher time frames looking for the big break either which way. Again, as long as Bitcoin's below 6,100, heavy pressure down. 5,850, as long as you're below that, still even more pressure down. If you could get above 5,850, I would actually kind of be on alert situation if that were to happen, because you typically don't see a big breakdown like this, like retest the breakdown area for a while. It typically does retest it, but it might be a while, like weeks. So again, if it were to happen relatively soon, that would not necessarily be the best look in my opinion. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right here. I hope this video finds you well. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Hope you go pray to all the bear Jesuses, all the bull Jesus, all the Jesuses that you want to do, or even goat Jesus if you so desire, because he's the best Jesus in my opinion. He just loves everyone. He's so great. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope this one finds you well, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.